Welcome guys, I'm Ashutosh Kumar from ZerOOne. Today we progress on our next video tutorial and we will see about return in C, scope, and we'll do if analysis, printf and scanf analysis, and logical operator uses in if-else statements. We will get a very brief idea about this, okay? And we will see about return statements in detail when we learn functions, okay? So in C, every statement returns a value. Okay, this idea will be clear when we do the if analysis. I mean to say, suppose if I write if x is greater than 5, okay, and the value of x is suppose 2, what will happen? 2 is greater than 5, it is true. So this statement, this is going to return some value. Okay, so what value will be returned? Cos 2 is greater than 5? No, 2 is not greater than 5, it is false, so it is going to return 0. Had the condition been true, it would be going to return 1. Okay, similarly, suppose we write x equal to 2. See, 2 will be assigned to x and it's a successful execution, so again a positive value will be returned. By this statement. So this is all about the returning, and we should remember that every statement returns a value in C. Now let us see what scope means. Before telling you about scope, let me write a simple program. Okay, I'm not writing those header files, okay, you have to write it for me, and I write int n equal to 10. So mind it, this is not declaration, this whole is somewhat called initialization, okay, and if we would have written like this, int n and then n equal to 10, then what is this part is declaration and we call it assignment, okay. So and then we write int n equal to 10 printf or send d comma n. Okay, so yes, this is very obvious, 10 will be the output. Okay, what if I modify the program like this? See, if I modify the program like this, and then I print, what will be the output? So this will be a compiler error. Okay, why? Because this thing, this braces actually declares you a scope in C, declares a scope. Scope is basically the area, the area under which statements will be limited to. So the scope of this int n equal to 10 is limited to this area only. Okay, so the scope is up to here only, and we are trying to access this n in another scope. See, this scope. Okay, so this n has went out of scope. Okay, and therefore in this scope compiler does not know the value of n, so it will throw you some compiler. And if we write this printf statement in this scope, then the program will work fine. So this was a brief idea of scope. We will do a depth analysis in this scope in storage classes, when we learn storage classes. Okay, and where we will learn about variables, auto, extern, and all those things. So to learn these sections, we have ample knowledge about scope and return. The knowledge that currently we have about return and scope is enough to learn these actions. Okay, so let us start. If and I promised you that we will be doing a deeper if analysis in the previous video section. So those who haven't watched my previous video, I would recommend that please watch that video. Okay, so let us start. Let me write a program. So what will be the output of this program? See, maybe some people will tell the output will be high because this is true, but see, this true is meaningless. Okay, compiler doesn't know. Okay, so there will be compile error. Okay, we don't know what this true mean. Okay, so there will be a compile error. Only there are two cases, see, if there is if one, okay, whenever the condition becomes true, the statement returns a positive value. It could be 1, it could be somewhat 23 or 999, something like that, anything, any positive value, then this if is executed. If it is like this, if here 0 comes, then this is not executed. Okay, so nothing is the case here, neither 1 is coming here, neither 0 is coming here, so a compile error will be generated. Okay, so this will not work. Now let us see, if we write like this, okay, what will happen? See, this is 1, this is 1, so this is going to be executed. So this statement will be executed. Anything we can put here, any positive number. Okay, suppose I put 999, again this will be executed. Okay, this statement. Now if I put here 0, then this will be executed. Okay, so this was about the condition parenthesis. Okay, let me write a program. Okay, so this condition is true because x is equal to 10. So this condition is true. This is going to return some positive value. And we know if under the parenthesis of if there is any positive value, the if is true and the block of if will be executed. So this will be executed and this will not be executed. If the condition becomes false, then the else part will be executed. Okay, let me tell you what will happen if I just put a semicolon here. See, this will throw a compiler. Okay, why? Because we are having a else here. So the compiler error will be something like that, a else without if. Okay, so we cannot have a else without if. So why is like this? When we are putting a semicolon here, we are actually closing the scope of if. Okay, we are closing the scope of if. Now when compilers read this else, it doesn't find the if of else. it doesn't find the if of else, and else cannot exist in its own. Okay, there need to be a if for the existence of else. That is why compiler will throw you a error. Okay, and let me tell what will happen if I erase this one. See, if I erase this one, then compiler is not going to throw you a error. If there is no else, only if is there, then compiler will not throw you any error. No error will be thrown. Why? See what will happen. The scope of if is closed now. Okay, the scope of if is closed now. Then what will happen? The execution will begin from here. What is the printf statement? High will be printed. Even if the value of x become 11, even if the value of x become 11, then also this will be printed. Keep in mind, whatever the value be, if the condition here becomes false, then also this statement will be executed when if we close the scope of if, isn't it? So we have put a semicolon after this if statement. What we have done, we have closed the scope. When we do like this, any statement after if will be executed, but keep in mind that whenever we put a semicolon, there must not be any else statement encountered in further program. Okay, so this was about putting a semicolon. Okay, what if we put a semicolon and else? See, a similar scenario will occur, like I write else and then I print by. So suppose this is 10. Okay, now this is 10, so only high will be printed. If I put a semicolon here, okay, what will happen? The scope of else will be closed. Scope of else will be closed. Now this condition is true, so this is executed, this is fine, but when we close this, this will also be executed. Okay, so closing the scope of else will will make the statement after else to be executed. So even if the condition is true, both the this statement and the statements after else will be executed. So this type of questions are a bit confusing, so practice that and keep in mind. So this was about closing if and else block. Okay, now can you tell me, if we want to write, how can we write hello world without a semicolon? Can we write this? Yes, we can. See, we can write it like this. We'll use the main function. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm using the syntax structure of if. I will write if. Okay, focus here, and then I will write printf. And then hello world. Is it visible? Okay, so and I will write like this. See what will happen, I haven't used any semicolon, and we will print this message. What happens is, see, inside the parenthesis of if, there can be any valid statement. Okay, any valid statement, you can write any damn thing, but that must be syntactically acceptable by the program. So yes, this printf is syntactically acceptable. Now someone wonder that why do not put a semicolon after this printf? Why we do not put? Because this is the syntax structure of if. Anything inside the if parenthesis is not terminated by semicolon. So we have used this printf function. What will happen? This printf function is going to return some value. I told you every statement returns some value. So this is going to return some value. Okay, this one will return some value. And what value it will return, I will tell you. For now it will return some positive value, and what will be that positive value, I will tell you. So now this have returned some positive value. So if is true, and if it's true, then this printf will also execute. Under this parenthesis, the output will come hello. Okay, this will be executed and it has returned now. So if it's true, what is under the scope of it? Nothing will be printed, and then we get hello world printed. You got my point? And see, if we do not write this one, if we do not write, okay, then there will be compile error. Why there will be compile error? Because see, this if is true now, and we made this if true. So what will happen? It will search for its statements. I told you that whenever there is a single statement, you need not put any braces. Okay, that is fine. But where is the statement of if? There is not even a single statement. So how the compiler would know what is happening? So we just enclose within a scope. So this is the scope of if. After the execution of this if statement, it will come under this scope and it will find nothing. So it will print nothing here and no statement will be executed. So keep in mind, if we do not write this, we are going to have a compile error. So this way we can write hello world without using a semicolon. Okay. Now let us do analysis of printf and scanf. Okay, see, printf statement is like this. Okay, format specifier is there and variables are there. A simple, the basic one for one variable. This is format specifier fs. Okay, so what happens is, whenever we write a printf statement, it returns some value. What value will be returned? It will return a value equivalent to the number of characters. Okay, number of characters that it is printing. See, for example, okay, see what will happen. What happens is, in generally we have variable here and the value is like this passed. So when this code will be executed, this printf high will be executed, and then what it will return some value. Okay, what value will it return? It is going to return some value. So what value? It will return the number of characters that is being sent to the buffer, or that is being sent to the %diff. You know, for simplicity, consider it that this is being sent to %d. Now how many characters are there? 1 and 2. So the output will be 2. So printf returns you a value equivalent to the number of characters that is being sent to the buffer. So for example, had it been hello in place of I, so the output would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, high 5. So this way the printf is returning you some value. Okay, if a statement of printf is like this, printf, so there's nothing here. Okay, so it will return you 0. Okay, good. Now let us see what scanf returns. Okay, so we are reading a value n, we have declared n, now we are going to read this value. Okay, so what will happen, this n will be read from keyboard, and see how many times we are reading a value, it will return, a scanner will return you the value equivalent to how many times we are reading the value. See, if we are reading here only one value, then the output will be something like this. Suppose n is equal to 5, then output will be 1. And if the scanf is like this, scanf %d comma and n and x, say some variable x is there, then how many values we are reading? No, 2 values, so the output will be 2. Okay, and one more important point that you should note in returning printf is that whenever we write printf and we put here %d, and if we put a space here, okay, space, and then we write printf and %d, and then we pass variables anything, var1 comma var2. So this is also going to be counted. Okay, so the number of characters that printf is going to send, so it is going to return you 3. Why? The number of characters here are 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so printf returns you the number of characters that is being printed, and a scanf returns you the number of input. How many times you are taking an input? Here we are taking 2 times, so scanf is returning 2. Okay, so this was about printf and scanf analysis, and we will also describe printf and scanf structure when we study header files in later video sections. Okay, so now let us write a final program for this lesson, that is void main, and I write suppose int x equal to -1, and then I write if x plus plus, okay, printf high plus plus x, and then we write else printf so what will be the output of the program? See, there will be a compile error. Why compile error? See, this is -1, okay, so x plus plus, this is post increment, I have told you. So what will happen? First the value will be signed, okay, so post increment is there, so the value here will be -1. Okay, the value is -1. Okay, it is true, but see, there are 2 statements here, isn't it? There are 2 statements here, and we haven't used any braces. So what will be the error? That you have used an else without if. Why? Because this else is going to search an if, okay, and it is not going to find. Why? Because we have closed the scope here. See, this printf scope is closed here, okay, and now we haven't used any braces, so the if is limited to here only, and we want to consider both the statements. So this else is not going to recognize where the if was, okay. That is why whenever there are multiple statements, we have to put, this braces. If we put this braces, then the program will work accordingly. So if we put braces, what will be the output? This is x plus plus, so here there will be no increment, so -1, then the value has got incremented. Now the value of x is 0, so this will be printed high, and plus plus x, again the value got incremented, pre-incremented, the value will become 1. Okay, so this was the program. Okay guys, so we had a lot learning under this section. Okay, if you have any doubt, you can comment below, or you can mail us at help.ZerOOne@gmail.com. Okay, we will be providing you more code snippets in later video examples. Okay, so now let us move to logical operator usage in if else statement. So how we are doing this? Suppose there is a question, there is an exam of 100 marks, okay, this is the full marks. There is grade A. If a student scores 91 and above, grade B, if the student's score is between 81 and 91, grade C, if the student score is between 71 and 81, and grade D, if below 71. So remember the breakup. This is the breakup. Grade A, we have marks 91 or above, equal to 91 or above. Okay, 81 or less than 91. Okay, 91 is not included in this. 71 or less than 81, and below 71 the grade is D. So how we will decide? How we will decide? See. So we will write program void main, and then we'll take variable int marks. Okay, then what we will do? We will scanner %d comma %m marks. Okay, now what was the breakup? If marks is greater than equal to 91, printf grade A. Okay. Else if marks is greater than equal to 81 and marks is less than 91. Okay, so what will printf grade B. Else if marks is greater than equal to 71 and marks is less than 81, printf grade C. Else printf grade D. So see, if the marks happen to be 95, suppose, so 95 is greater than 91, so yes, this will be printed grade A. If marks happen to be, suppose, say 85, what will happen? Yes, 85 is greater than 81. This is okay. Also, it must be less than 91. Okay. Now, suppose if we do not apply this condition, what would have happened? This is true. This is true. If this is true, then the program is not going to fall under this one. Okay, so what if the marks is 85, then this condition is true. Okay, this is true, then this also needs to be true. 85 is less than 91, then only you can fall under grade B, because if this would be the only condition, if we have only this condition, okay, and suppose a student scores 95, see, then we cannot decide which grade it would fall, isn't it? So we have two constants here, that yes, in grade B the marks will be less than 91 and greater than 81, so it falls into grade B. Similarly, marks is greater than 71 and less than 81 falls into grade C. If marks is something else, you fall under grade D. So this was, where we are using logical AND. Okay, similarly we can see logical OR we can do. According to the situation, we can do the logical OR. What will be the difference? In logical AND, this needs to be true, this needs to be true. If both are true, then this if is true. And if something is like this, if condition 1, condition 2, okay, and then statement. So this OR means if any one of these two statements are true, this is going to be true. Okay, so this way we will be using our logical operator in if else statements. Okay, so thank you guys, hope you liked it. Please like and subscribe our channel.